So it's definitely had that effect, and the idea of home is so tied to identity. So thinking about where I'm from and who I am is a work that I've had to do as a youth going into an adult, rather than having it from grandparents or great-grandparents or ancestors or things like that. So it's definitely affected me, I think, pretty negatively at first, but I've definitely found solace and strength in the work that I've done so far.
Beautiful. Okay. So the other question that we had was looking at self-care and community care. Why are those things important in our movement towards collective liberation?
I think that it's really interesting, because if we look at our African ancestors, there was a level of collectivism and a level of unity that we displayed in our tribes and, you know, different ethnicities, and I think a lot of that is lost in the West. So I'm always kind of trying to find the balance between my individual expression and my individual health and what I can give towards the collective health of my community, because I do think, you know, having a community and family and feeling part of like something larger than me is very important, but I also have like my own feelings and my own desires and my own wants. So it's kind of this balance, and we don't really have a schema for that in popular culture. So a lot of it feels like I'm just, you know, reading a lot of Toni Morrison and James Baldwin and Alice Walker and people who wrote about this sort of stuff, and trying to figure it out on my own and in my small groups of friends and people.
It's reclaiming and relearning.
Reclaiming and relearning, for sure. I feel like that is kind of the underlying labor of being Black in the West, is a lot of reclaiming my time and my energy and my
literally
space.
Generations of time.
And my work and my honor and my dignity and all those things that were stripped away from me.
Perfect. And that will lead perfectly into what positive impacts you've seen in your work, which seems to be very much centered around solidarity and intersectionality.
I think on a personal level, being able to understand and empathize with other people with diverse backgrounds, I think, is really what it's all about. I think there's a lot of wisdom around the world, and there's a lot of good energy and positive spirituality that is healthy, and it's something that we should want to access. So figuring out how to connect with people who you disagree with, who you may not necessarily understand, whose culture is very different from yours, is very important work. And I think while the prerequisite of that is having a strong understanding of self, so that you can carry your ancestry and your opinions into these conversations and spaces, I think really getting down to what makes us similar and what is unique that we bring to the table, both individually and across cultures, is really important work and really lovely work to do.
So the parties that you started, Ascendance?
Ascendance.
Do you feel like that's had an impact on
for sure. It's
diverse communities?
It's really interesting.
What have you seen?
Our party, I would say our demographic is 80 to 90% people of color. 3/4 plus of those people of color are Black, and then 1/4 of those people of color are usually Latinx, some Asian folks, and then maybe like 10% white. And our invite-only system has been really interesting because we were really transparent about it. We were like, look, this party is becoming gentrified, and we want to be able to have this space for our people. that doesn't mean we're a Black only event or a POC only event. It just means like come in this space with the right intentions. And the effects on each different demographic have been really interesting, right? So Black people feel very affirmed that they have a space, that we've taken this thing that's gotten really big. It's like 600 people every party. And really said, nope, we're going to really focus and center on our needs. But we're also finding with the white people, the allies, the accomplices who do ultimately decide to come, it's a process of figuring out whether they should be in that space a lot at all. So they're like talking to people, talking to me, like, I don't know, you know, you went invite only and that's totally cool and I support you. I don't know if this is a space that's for me anymore. And when I hear that, I'm like, if you say that, then it is a space for you now. If you understand that you have to question whether a space is for you, then you should continue to do that in Black and brown spaces you're at. But this space right here is one that's for allies who can take this energy and learn from it, contribute financially, learn from it, and then take it out into, you know, collecting their aunties and uncles and grandparents. Right, each one teach one for sure. So it kind of has a different effect on different types of people, which I think is the intended goal.
Beautiful, all of it beautiful. Is there any last message that you want to send to the youth that around these themes and in your own life experience?
I think it is easy and justifiable to get lost in the anger that you feel every day. Just kind of looking around and observing and understanding the way things are and how they got there. Like I said, easy and justifiable. There's a reason that there's like an angry Black man or paranoid Black man and an angry Black woman stereotype, because those are real feelings that we have. But I found that it is definitely more helpful for me inside and also me in my community to acknowledge those feelings and work through those feelings and end up in a place of love, because on an individual level you can connect with anyone. Collective, that's going to take collective action, right? But on an individual level you can connect with anyone, and that's hard to do when you're angry, and it's hard to do when you're disappointed and hurt. So that balance of acknowledging those feelings and also not letting them define you, I think is the work of Blackness in America. Hopefully not forever.
No, not forever. Thank you. That was beautiful. It's exactly what we've been talking about on this whole trip. The other day we were just talking about, you know, feelings and how easy it is to shut them off, but how important it is to be able to feel anything, whether it's anger, gratitude, love, sadness, but then be able to move forward after that. But there really is no forward motion until we allow ourselves.
Yeah, and we're combating like there are those studies that show that a lot of white people think that Black people literally feel less, literally have a higher pain tolerance, so that's what we're combating.
Yeah, exactly.
And what we're asking what we're being asked to do is internalize all that and send love back out, which is such a labor, right?
It's so unrealistic.
It's unrealistic. But yeah, I haven't found much success moving the finger. I've found success using that anger and funneling it into something positive. But yeah, it's a challenge. It's a challenge for sure.
You're an amazing educator.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you. I think we're done.